This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Sacramento Kings did not play last night. They missed out on a ridiculous night in the NBA. The average margin of victory for the 6 games was 28 points. That's the highest margin of victory ever for a day in the NBA that included at least 5 games. The Pacers beat the Suns by 34. The 76ers stumped the Timberwolves by 42. The Hawks beat the Thunder by 16 and ran up 142 points on Oklahoma City. The Bucks were all over the Heat by 38. The Warriors in Denver beat the Nuggets by 31. They set an NBA record with 51 first quarter points, and then the Lakers managed to sneak by the Bulls 107-100. Speaking of the Lakers, LeBron James' return to their lineup will be delayed at least 2 more games. He's been out since injuring his groin on Christmas Day. He won't be with the team. They have a 2-game road trip coming up through Oklahoma City and Houston. James won't be on that road trip, but he hasn't been ruled out for the Lakers' Martin Luther King Day matchup with the Warriors. It's 8:03. Time now for the International Sportsman's Expo. Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo. Get tickets at sportsexpos.com. Those are your top stories, and now it's time for the final hour of the drive right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Coming up in just over a half an hour, you can qualify for the Big Game Dream Party by winning tickets to Tap Into a Cold One, Folsom's Wintercraft Brew Fest, happening January 26th. Get your tickets at tapfolsom.com. Hey, the Big Game Dream Party, presented by Mel Rapton Honda. This is awesome. We've been talking about it all week, all last week. You get a 65-inch television, $2,500 in Lazy Boy furniture, and a $500 gift card to Sprouts Farmers Market. Tune in at 840, 140, and 340 all week. When you hear the code word, text it to 441140 or enter it at KHTK.com to qualify. You got to be 21 or over to enter. That's coming up here in just under. Well, just over.
Not this break, but the next one.
I get some of this football stuff. Kyle, can I say one last thing? I hear the people that are like, I really do. I hear the people that are like, man, we're 23 and 21.
Sure.
Can we just talk about that?
Yeah. I think that's a prevailing thought.
Here's to us not having to talk about anything off court for a long time, the remainder of the year, the summertime, next year, other than free agency, extensions, all that stuff. Do you understand if, this is just my thought, if this stuff isn't put out in the light, if it's not discussed, if it's not talked about, that's where bad things begin to form and they can get worse and they can fester.
Yes.
And I'm very uncomfortable with the idea of having a little bit of extra knowledge, a little bit of connection to this team, and not talking about it, not sharing it, not discussing it. It almost feels like disloyalty. It feels like cheating a little bit. Like, oh, I know that. I'm not going to tell you.
Nobody wants this team to succeed more than you, and it's not like you drum up fake internal strife or you like discussing this stuff.
I hate discussing this stuff.
It's necessary, though.
I hope, as Vlade has repeatedly said, he and I are on the same page here, man. God, there's so many positive things going on right now.
There's a lot of positive.
Let's be done with this. Talk about positive stuff. Kings are 23 and 21. How about it?
Here's a positive thing I can think of, not having to do with the Kings, but it's time to plan your football playoff party treats and start at your local Sprouts Farmers Market and Sprouts.com. That is an unadulterated positive.
I agree
in my
with that,
opinion.
by the way.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to give you a ding for that.
Thank you.
Hey, the Lowdown had a question yesterday, and I was what?
Speaking of Sprouts.
Speaking of dings, I was driving around yesterday. When I drive around, I do try to listen to my friends here at KHTK and my colleagues, and I was listening to Damian and Jason and Chris and Cody. And they have like 70 people on their show now. I think 70, is that over? They have a lot of people. Good for them. And they had a question their lowdown question of the day or whatever they call it, which it really caught my eye. It's a good question because Tom Brady is about to participate in his 8th straight AFC Championship game.
Ridiculous.
And LeBron James has participated in 8 straight NBA Finals. Also ridiculous, Kyle.
Extremely.
Which is more impressive? And I found myself thinking, and I know it's a good question when I can very comfortably argue both sides.
Here's why I think LeBron's is more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
He has to win 3 7-game series to get there. I understand that basketball isn't as physically demanding. I also think that in shooty baskets, one player can really have an impact more so than in football. We saw Tom Brady last year, for example, in the Super Bowl throw for 500 yards, and his team lost because his defense couldn't get a stop. So I think LeBron, because of basketball's more individual nature, and I know it's a team game, I know it involves other people and stuff.
It does.
But it's a reason that LeBron James left and the Cavs are now the worst team in the league after being in the finals for 4 straight years. And how the Heat haven't gone back since LeBron left. I getting to the finals, to me, in the manner that LeBron has done it, as kind of a one-man show for the most part. I know you had Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, and he's some talented players, and Kyrie, but LeBron was the guy. If Kyrie was still in Cleveland, they're not making the finals.
So I'm not disagreeing with you. Let me offer the counterpoint.
Sure.
And I would have done this whichever side you went to. As you said, it's football. It's football in the sense that the physicality is greater.
Mm-hmm.
Not the athleticism. Let's be clear. I'm talking about the physicality and potential for injury.
Right. There's a reason there's 16 football games and 82 basketball games.
As a quarterback, you are spending 16 games a year plus preseason plus playoffs. So really, in effect, let's say he plays, a total of 1 game, if that, in the preseason, which isn't accurate. I'm talking about Tom Brady. And then another, 1, 2, 3. And you're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 football games a year if he goes to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And everyone is trying to flagrant to you on every single play. Every single play, the defense is trying to commit a foul on you that would eject you and probably suspend you in the NBA, physically.
Right.
Imagine LeBron James getting sacked at the 3 on an NBA court. The NFL also enjoys far more parity.
Mm-hmm.
Far more parity than the NBA.
Except in the AFC East, but keep going.
You're correct. You're correct, which is the topic we're on. I mean, really, the New England Patriots are the they're the tattered flag on the flagpole being blown by storms, the one standing, while everyone else, every year, last to first place, this guy, that Philadelphia Eagles, blah, blah, blah.
And for the argument inevitably against that goes, well, have you ever thought that maybe the AFC East is bad because of the Patriots? Like, no, dude, look at the Bills and the Jets and the Dolphins' track records.
Correct.
Not great.
So you have the fact that parity is far from the norm in the NBA, but very much the norm in the NFL. You mentioned that LeBron James also is a far bigger part of the Cavs' Heat.
I think just by the nature of basketball.
That's what I'm talking about, because half the game, or approximately half the game, Tom Brady's sitting on his ass doing nothing.
Right.
LeBron James makes up.
He sort of does that on defense.
LeBron James makes up 20% of the players on the field at any time when he's on the court, and he plays offense and defense, meaning he has more control. See, Tom Brady can't control what the defense does other than ball placement, other than field.
The biggest play in LeBron James' career is the chase down block on Andre Iguodala.
Correct.
That is a top 3 or 5 play in NBA history. Had Tom Brady been at safety and knocked that ball away from David Tyree when he caught it on his helmet, it might be a different story.
And that would be considered the greatest football team ever to play.
Right. So that's that I guess I'm just driving home the point that Tom Brady doesn't do anything on defense. Even if you want to say LeBron rests on defense.
Right.
The biggest play of his career was a defensive play.
Now in the NBA, no matter how good your record is, there are no buys. You're playing in the first round. Unlike the NFL, where you enjoy a bye, the Patriots enjoy a bye pretty much every single year. But in the NBA, you have 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
In football, you're one and done. One bad game, one bad outing, one bad pick, you're done. That's it. You don't have the opportunity. Like, for example, hindsight, I get it. Is there really any doubt in your mind that let's take that David Tyree Giants team. Is there really any doubt in your mind that if that was a 3, 5, or 7-game series over a period of 3, 5, or 7 weeks, Patriots versus Giants, is there really any doubt in your mind that the Patriots win that series?
No.
There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, because you give Bill Belichick 5 weeks to figure a team out.
Credit to the Giants. All credit, and they won. And the rings aren't coming off their fingers. But I believe the Patriots were a better team that year.
Yeah, and weren't the Giants 9-7 one of the years they won it, that second year after they beat the Niners?
Yeah.
But I guess something I just said is going to counter a lot of what you just said. Mm-hmm. I said you give Bill Belichick 5 to 7 weeks to figure a team out. LeBron James has gone through how many coaches in Cleveland and Miami? He's had 4 or 5 different head coaches, and he's still dominant.
Sure. It's a very difficult question. And I think what's great about the question, why the question they asked on the lowdown is so great. I mean, I get this question's been asked elsewhere. Damien didn't make it up. Jason didn't make it up.
No, they did.
They did? They invented it? Okay.
They told me.
It's such a great question because it reminds us that we are living in a time where we are seeing that is absolutely unprecedented to have a LeBron James and a Tom Brady going at it at the same time.
Oh, and we've also got Mike freaking Trout in baseball.
No. He does not get to be a part of this conversation at all. Well, okay.
He's played almost 8 straight seasons.
You are correct. And you know what? Honestly, if I was to talk about him, I would want to spend the bulk talking about, let's talk about Mike Trout in the postseason and what he has done.
He's played 3 games and he was bad in those 3 games.
Mike Trout is arguably.
I was joking.
I know you are. Mike Trout doesn't get to be, and Mike Trout does not get to breathe the air that Brady and James do.
No.
So, my answer to that question, Kyle, is a complete cop-out. I can't answer the question. I can't.
I'm answering it.
You're answering it, and you're saying it's LeBron.
Because now, when we look at, because of singular achievement, just because of basketball's nature and the ability for one player to dominate in the way LeBron has in those 8 consecutive trips to the finals.
Mm-hmm. But he also has more control.
Right, which is why it's more impressive to me on an individual level. I think we would see, I don't think we'll ever see this again, but if you told me one of these things is going to happen again, a football team is going to go to 8 straight conference finals or a basketball player will go to 8 straight finals, I would pick the basketball player going to 8 straight finals because in football, like you said, it is so difficult.
Correct. But
it's more of a team. There are so many things about that. You take Belichick. You take there are other factors involved in the Patriots. You can't say, oh, you take Ty Lue out and the Cavs don't go to the finals. I don't think anyone's saying that.
And look at who, and let's just real quick go through who LeBron has been able to work with. You know, obviously Kyrie Irving, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. I think that Kevin Love, thank you. I would also say that, as you said, it's much harder to maintain a dynasty, especially with the salary cap, the way it is in football, hard cap. It is much harder to maintain a dynasty in football than it is basketball. And when you look at the Patriots, they have subbed in and subbed out so many players over the years to work with Tom Brady. When you look at the history of Tom Brady, who's the best running back he's ever had?
Probably like Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon is exactly who I was going to say. Now, maybe Sony Michel is. I don't know. Randy Moss was probably his best receiver.
I was trying to run down the Hall of Famers that Tom Brady's played with. Moss.
Isn't Brewski a Hall of Famer?
No. Is Willie McGinnis in?
I think
Richard
so.
Seymour? Any of those guys?
I think McGinnis is.
But the fact of the matter is the list, especially on offense, of Hall of Famers that Brady's played with. Gronk will get in. Randy Moss is in. And, like, none of those other guys, Welker's not getting in. Edelman's not getting in. Amendola's not a Hall of Famer.
Here's the thing with Tom Brady.
Troy Brown.
You can say this without question. The greatest teammate Tom Brady's ever had, by far, without a doubt, is Bill Belichick.
Yes.
It's his coach.
Yes.
It's his coach.
And that's, I guess, my whole point. On an individual level, the argument could be made that Belichick is a bigger reason that the Patriots have gotten to those 8 straight.
We'll never know.
Conference. Right, but the argument is there.
But
I'm not saying I buy it.
Let
I don't think that argument works for LeBron.
But I'll counter that. I'll
Please.
counter that argument
Please.
because here's another difference between LeBron and Tom Brady. Tom Brady has not handpicked the teams he's gone to compete 3 times. Tom Brady has never moved from the Patriots and joined up with Team X, Team Y, and Team Z.
Well, he hasn't had to because he's had a brilliant coach and GM.
But I'm saying he's stayed in the same spot the whole time, and they have brought people in and out. And if your point is he has much more functionality above him than, say, LeBron did with Dan Gilbert, LeBron has moved to Miami to play with 1.5 Hall of Famers, moved back to Cleveland after they had 2 number 1 picks.
Did you still shade at Chris Bosh?
Do you think Chris Bosh is a Hall
Chris
of Famer?
Bosh is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. I won't get sidetracked. I'll give you that. I may not agree 100%, but I'll give you that. And by the way, LeBron James has done it all in the Eastern Conference, which for the bulk of his career has been the far inferior conference.
That's fair.
I don't think there's any chance in hell LeBron James goes to 8 straight finals if he plays his career in the West.
No.
Unless he's playing for the Warriors the last 5 years. And
we're seeing now how much more difficult it is.
Yeah, we are. Do you believe LeBron James will make the finals this year?
No.
No, me neither. I don't think there's a shot in hell. And I'm talking about a guy who's made 8 straight finals.
Right.
I think there's a shot in hell he makes it.
Right.
So he has never made the finals when playing in the Western Conference. Stat of the day. And we talked about this the other day, getting the Tom Brady as a system quarterback. Well, here's one thing we'll never know and kind of why I hope Tom Brady and Bill Belichick retire at the same time. Because the Brady haters point to, Matt Castle. Matt Castle went 10-6 or 11-5 or whatever he was. But what they don't point to is the fact that Bill Belichick was a garbage fire in Cleveland.
Right.
They didn't have the personnel. Okay. Isn't it possible that Brady and Belichick need each other and make up literally the greatest coach-player tandem in American sports history? Is there even an argument against that? Is there even an get out of here with Pop and Duncan. Get out of here with Pop and Robinson.
I was going to.
That's where everybody goes. It's not close. It's not close. Pop and Duncan or Pop and Robinson. No. I would take Pop, Duncan, and Robinson. Give them an extra credit for the other guy. It doesn't approach Brady and Belichick.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm copping out mainly not because I can't answer it, but because I just think they're too different. They're just too different.
A person who was born on the day the Patriots, Belichick and Brady won their first championship. So
what was that, 2001?
They turned 18 this month.
Yeah, there are legal adults that have never seen the Patriots not be a dynasty. They're voting. Imagine being, think about all the kids. You know what I'd like to do? I would like to line up every 18-year-old sports fan in Boston and just slap them all in a row like Three Stooges.
Remember, there's that picture, that video of that kid. He's like 9 years old. He's like 10th championship parade.
Yes.
Like, eat one. I hope you don't learn how to read.
They have seen, I want to catch myself on this, but I don't think I'm wrong, but no research on this. I believe they have seen the greatest 18-year period for any city in sports history. I don't,
like you said, I don't have the research in front of me, but it's really hard to imagine anything better.
When you're talking about baseball, basketball, football, and hockey.
Between the Bruins, Red Sox, Celtics, and Patriots, they're in a championship seemingly every year.
And by the way, there's probably like Boston University has like probably 4 hockey championships or so. There's probably some college thing going on there too, I'm sure. It's the greatest ever. It's the greatest run ever.
It's really hard to imagine one being matched.
And as we sit here on the precipice of a similar dynasty in Sacramento,
it's gonna be like from bottom to top. It's gonna be like Walsh, Montana, Popovich, Duncan, Brady, Belichick, Jaeger, Fox.
Coors Light Cold Hard Facts coming up next. Kyle's got some facts for you. We've got some more info for you as well. I want to talk about the 7th grade kid getting a scholarship. What were you doing in 7th grade?
Not getting a scholarship.
What was your greatest accomplishment going into 8th grade? Don't answer it. Think about it during the break. And a Syracuse fan gave away almost $250,000 to celebrate the Orange beating Duke in Duke. This just in though, one little fun fact on that: the guy who gave the money away is a former convicted felon. This is a very interesting story. Yeah, I'll let you know more about that next, along with Cold Hard Facts, right here on The Drive, Sports 1140 KHTK.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Sacramento Kings did not play last night, and they missed out on a pretty wild night in the association. The average margin of victory in last night's 6 games was 28 points, including a 34-point win by the Pacers over the Suns, a 42-point win by the 76ers over the Timberwolves. The Hawks beat the Thunder by 16 points. The Bucks dropped the Knicks by 38. The Warriors crushed the Nuggets by 31 in Denver. And then the Lakers, they beat the Bulls by 7. The LeBron James return to the Lakers lineup will be delayed at least 2 more games, according to ESPN. He's been out since injuring his groin on Christmas Day. He won't be with the team on their 2-game road trip through Oklahoma City and Houston. James hasn't been ruled out, though, for the Lakers' Martin Luther King Day matchup with the Warriors. It's 8:32. Time now for the International Sportsman's Expo, Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo. Get tickets at sportsexpos.com. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
The best morning show on KHTK. The drive continues now.
If you're watching on the video stream, and our video stream numbers are through the roof, thank you all for supporting that. We like to think it's fun to add a video concept and execution to the program. You saw Kyle Madsen holding one of the many fat heads, including me. I was wearing a Kurt Cobain-esque blonde wig one time, and somebody took a picture. I don't even remember the context as to why I was wearing it.
It's like if Snape and Narcissa Malfoy had a
kid.
Baby.
You had one.
Dude.
Yeah, you might want to go to the first aid kit. It's in the corner. Grab the burn medicine and just swim in it.
When I cut my finger last night, I realized for the first time that I do not have a first aid kit in my home.
Yeah, you need one.
So me and my bloody finger had to walk down to
Ooh,
the...
I'm Kyle, I'm English. I say things like my bloody finger.
Me and my finger that was bleeding had to walk down to the local corner store to buy some Band-Aids.
Speaking of bleeding fingers, thank you to Damian and Jason Ross. They will, along with the Lowdown crew, Sans, Christopher Lott, I believe. It will be Damian, Jason, and Kyle. No word if Cody will be coming up to the mornings or not, but tomorrow will be my last show for the next week and a day, as I'm going to be
I'm Dave. I go on vacation.
Heading out Make like wait, no, not telling that joke. I will be heading out and gone, and they're sliding up here to the morning. So congratulations, listeners. You will have focused, professional shows.
We had a focused professional last segment, and it was a question we stole from the Lowdown. So.
We did, as a matter of fact. Remember when they stole our topics?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't. Good point from the Jiffy Lube text line. We were talking about Belichick and Brady and player-coach combos, best of all time, and I said there's just nobody even close. I need to grab, is it this one? Hold on. Oh, let me pick up the phone. Hello? Yep, Carmichael Dave, it's The Drive. Hello. Oh, hi, Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. How you doing?
He actually picked up the phone.
It's so awesome that you're listening right now.
He's talking on the phone.
And you're. No, I guess 6 championships in 8 years. No, no. I know you're the greatest player of all time, Michael. Maybe. Yes, Phil. I know you have more rings. Okay. I apologize. You know what? You're up there. I'm going to. No, I have not read your book, Phil. No, I don't want to read any other books that you give me. Okay. No, Michael, I don't know what the under is on tonight's game. Okay. Looking forward to your documentary. All right, bye. Hey, that was Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. And they wanted to say, hey, we probably belong in that same pantheon as Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And you know what? I'm going to give them, Kyle, I'm going to give them a ding. They're correct. They're absolutely correct. So I apologize to Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. Yes, they belong in that same pantheon as Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I still think Belichick and Brady are better considering.
Sure.
But they absolutely belong.
They're on the Mount Rushmore.
They are. Mount Coach Player More.
It's a lot of faces on there because it's 2 players, coaches.
So 8 faces, dude.
8 faces.
Coors Light Cold Hard Facts with Kyle Madsen starts right now.
It's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Fact of the Day. Here's Kyle Madsen.
Hi, Kyle Madsen. You got a cold hard fact or whatever?
Yeah, I have a one from the Warriors game last night, but God. I'm just gonna roll past that one and get into the one about the NFL playoffs. The Warriors scored 142 points last night on 10 free throws.
Yeah.
That's the most points ever scored in a game where a team shot 10 or fewer free throws.
Great.
The previous record was 135, set by the 2008 Warriors.
Good job.
Okay, so anyways, did you know that the Chiefs and Patriots AFC Championship game is a matchup of the number 1 and number 4 scoring offenses in the NFL?
I did.
The difference in points scored between the Chiefs and Patriots at number 1 and number 4 is the same as the difference between the Patriots and the Tennessee Titans, who finished 27th.
You're kidding me.
No.
I want you to repeat that, please, for the kids in the back to hear, because that's a pretty amazing stat.
So the difference between the Chiefs, the number 1 scoring offense, and the Patriots, the number 4 scoring offense, is the same as the difference between the number 4 Patriots scoring offense and the Titans, who were the number 27 scoring offense.
That's insane. Well,
that is outrageous.
That's why they play the games, Kyle. That's why they play the games.
The Chiefs scored 129 more points than the Patriots. That's like 19 touchdowns.
That is 4 games of scoring
18 touchdowns, I guess.
That's 4 games of scoring a little over 32 points a game. That's 4 extra games.
Yeah.
Of scoring 30. That is a quarter of the season if you average 32
rolling
points.
Up 32 points a game.
Dear goodness, my gosh. Well,
just to give you the scale.
That's why they play the games, right? Speaking of your Chiefs, Kyle, when the Chiefs face the Patriots in this AFC Championship game, it will have been 17,906 days since their last Super Bowl appearance when they beat Minnesota in Super Bowl IV. Among teams with at least 1 Super Bowl appearance, only this team has a longer active drought. And I'm looking at the top 4 droughts right here. The Chiefs are second.
And they were in Super Bowl 4. So it's got to be the Jets.
That is absolutely correct. Well done, Kyle. 18,270 days since the Jets have made a Super Bowl, followed by the Vikings
Right.
at 15,000 and the Dolphins at 12,400.
I think the Dolphins would be better if what's-his-name didn't pop champagne every year when a team lost. I think that's just karma. Like, that's why the Dolphins stink.
I never thought I'd say this on the show, but I saw a really good point made by Matt Barnes yesterday on Instagram. What are the odds? Like, what were the Vegas odds of that coming out of my mouth? All right. No, props to Matt Barnes on this. He posted a video of Adam Gase at his press conference. And he said, my guy Eric Reed got tested 754,000 times during, I'm paraphrasing Matt, by the way, during the NFL season. How is nobody running a test on Adam Gase after that?
Especially when Miami had a coach who was doing
You gotta
drugs,
be
like literally doing drugs in the
literally
facility.
snorting cocaine on film. Now, you have
At
to be
the facility.
You have to be insanely careful here on radio of what you insinuate and the accusations you make. And I want to be clear. I'm not insinuating or accusing neither of you, Adam Gase, of anything.
No,
Other
of course
than
not.
very erratic behavior, very weird eyes, and excuse me, a mannerism or mannerisms that are highly indicative of something awry.
And the NFL's threshold for testing people and players, who is it? Matt Bosher, the punter,
Sure.
who spiked that punt returner
Sure.
with the tackle?
Correct.
Got tested after the game.
Why can't we get a media member in New York with a little bit of cojones, which, by the way, there are quite a few media members in
I
New
think
York.
all of them. I think that's requirement
Why
A.
can't we get a media member to, probably because there will be no media availability for months, but would have been nice to have somebody say, listen, Adam, your behavior was highly, highly irregular. And we don't like the rumors that are out there. We'd like you to submit to a voluntary drug test. Because what's he going to say? If he says no.
He's going to say, I'm not going to dignify that. That's ridiculous.
But the thing is, watch the tape. This isn't like, his color was weird. Or
He's nervous. He doesn't like public speaking. It's the New York media.
Dude,
he knows they all have
his
cajones.
Pupils, his eyes, his mannerisms.
His pupils, so his like coaching staff? His students.
Last thing for you, Kyle, we got a break here. The average margin of victory in the 6 NBA games last night was 28 points. That is the largest average margin of victory on a single day in NBA history, with a day having a minimum of 5 games. That's the largest margin of victory in NBA history. Last thing for you, a little bit of trivia. The amount of playoff road games played by both Super Bowl teams combined last year was 0.
Yeah.
Would you like to guess what it was in 2017?
0.
You are correct.
It's been 0 every year since the 49ers and Ravens played in the Super Bowl, I believe.
2016, 0. 2015, 0. 2014, 0.
Yeah.
So that's a combined road game Super Bowl teams have played since 2014 in the playoffs. We'll take a break. When we come back, what's on tap? We'll have some final thing. I want to get to the 7th grader getting a scholarship, too. It's The Drive, Sports 1140 KHDK. Hey, Kyle, just so you know, if you decide during one of the breaks to go talk to the boss, Jason Ross, say hello, say good morning and all that.
Yeah.
You know how he plays the show in his office?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Delayed.
It's delayed.
Yeah.
So they're talking to him. I was like, oh, is this on delay? Like, no. Go away, kid. All right. What's on tap?
Yeah. Hey, Jason, please stop making Dave late.
Yeah, Jason Ross. Who will be in this time slot with Damian Barling starting Friday through the entire rest of the week. Remember, we're all off for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, in which the Kings play at 12:30.
It's time to plan your football playoff party treat. Start at your local Sprouts Farmers Market and Sprouts.com. Come.
One text about our big game party.
Good harmonizing on the fly there, by the way.
We planned it. From the 916, do we get to keep the TV and furniture, or is it like a rental for the game? Not laughing at you, texter, just the concept.
That's actually a very valid question,
really
because
is.
that's such an awesome giveaway that it sounds like too good to be true.
Can you imagine?
The idea that hey, KSGK is going to come in, we're going to drop off the stuff.
Gotta go.
Rent a truck haul people will be by after the game.
Everybody out.
Hey, you're screwed if it goes to overtime, because we've only got them until 4:00.
And all the furniture has like all the plastic on it. You're not allowed to take the plastic off. Oh, got to take the TV now.
Do we get the remote? No. It's on the game. That's it.
No, you get to keep the TV. You get to keep the $2,500 in the Lazy Boy furniture, and you do not have to regurgitate the $500 in Sprouts Farmers Market.
You buy the snacks, lay them out. Don't eat those.
Don't eat them. You're like
I have a bag of chips. You can have those.
You're like one of those adult birds in the Earth documentaries after the game. We're going to need that food back, please.
Sprouts will compost it.
And if you didn't, I'm going to help everybody out today. You've been very good, and we've all gotten through this show together. Go ahead and you heard it during the break, but the code word today is super.
Super. As in, super size.
Right. And let me help people out too, because I believe spelling is important. Capitalization not so much, but spelling is important. Super is not spelled supper. It's one P.
Yeah, only one of each letter.
Supper.
Hey, someone hears that and they're like, super. It's football. Oh, Duper. Mark Duper.
Yeah, Duper. Souper. It's more soupy.
Underrated wide receiver all time, by the way, Mark Duper.
You'll have two more chances to win at 140 and 340.
Super. Souper. They ask me at restaurants all the time, super salad. Say yes.
Super salad. I don't want to confuse people. It's super, Super. Super.
Super as in super.
Man.
Yes. Or super woman.
Or super person, Kyle.
Right.
Super duper. Super size.
Super Dave, R.I.P.
Super Dave, R.I.P. Super Sonic.
Nice.
R.I.P.
Damn.
Sorry. That was
cold.
That was really cold, much like Key Arena. All right. What's on tap? Oh, what's on tap? Brought to you. Sorry. I'm rooting for them. I hope they get a team.
Yeah, me too.
What's on tap? Brought to you by
Pocket Squares.
What's a pocket square?
What
Is
are
that
you
a food?
What are you, a farmer?
Maybe. Maybe I am, Kyle.
it's a 30 Rock line. The pocket square, when you're wearing a suit and you have the little color
the thingy,
beach of the.
I always call that. I think the technical term for that, Kyle, is actually cloth thingy.
Oh,
but you can call it a pocket
I'm
square.
very uncultured, so.
Pocket squares. Hey, are you dressed up but looking for a bit extra?
Yes.
Well,
perpetually.
Boy, do I have a deal for you. Look, it's pocket squares. It's a little cloth thingy you can put in your breast pocket that you pull it out just a tad, and it can match your tie, it can match your suspenders, your vest. Pocket squares, better than pocket triangles. Get yours today. What's on tap? Brought to you by Pocket Squares. I don't know, some basketball. Is this right? It wasn't populated. I was like, is there only one game tonight? Let's see. What's our game of the night, Kyle? I'm okay. First nominee, Raptors at Celtics.
Oh, that's absolutely the game of the night. There's nothing going to be better than that.
Underrated game. It won't be the game of the night, but underrated possible competitive game. Brooklyn at Houston. That's not a game that's going to be on anybody's radar as far as competitive. Brooklyn's been playing very well recently. Houston does not have Clint Capella. Line in that game is Houston by 4. That's a tough line.
Very interesting.
Bucks at Grizzlies. Meh. Battle of Texas. Spurs
okay, hang on.
Mavs.
Bucks at Grizzlies. Give me Bucks minus 5.
I don't have the line for that, actually, but let's go ahead with that. Spurs at Mavericks.
Spurs at Mavs. You have a line for this one?
I do.
Spurs at Mavs. Give me Mavs minus 2.
Mavs minus 1, idiot. Cavs at Trailblazers.
Blazers minus 13.
God, you're getting embarrassed. Blazers minus 12.5. Jazz at Clippers.
Jazz at Clippers minus 2.5.
Dude, quit your job. Clippers minus 2.
Oh, 2.
Quit your job full time. More like no time. So there's that. Brought to you by Pocket Squares. Okay, this headline. Okay, this is not a funny headline, but it was just this headline is phrased weird, and I don't want to seem insensitive because it's a very serious story. Turkey is accusing Enes Kanter of being part of a terror group, and they have elected to seek an international arrest warrant for Kanter, accusing him of being a member in a terror organization. The Istanbul Chief Prosecutor's Office has also prepared an extradition request for the NBA player. They're seeking what's called a red notice from Interpol, citing Kanter's ties to the exiled Muslim cleric Fethullah Gulen, who is blamed for a failed coup that happened back in 2016, accusing Kanter of providing financial support to the group. Kanter said, and I'm quoting off his Twitter now, the Turkish government cannot present any single piece of evidence of my wrongdoing. I don't even have a parking ticket in the United States. I've always been a law-abiding resident. I want to shout out Enes Kanter here for many reasons, but number one, if a warrant was issued for me in Sacramento for crossing the street wrong, I would soil myself, much less a foreign country where not all good things happen wanting to extradite me for God knows what towards me and my family.
Right.
So what I wouldn't have the guts, balls, or whatever's to do is I would not be Enes Kanter and say, now I didn't read the entire tweet as it was put. Let me do it again. Enes Kanter on Twitter this morning. Turkish government cannot present any single piece of evidence of my wrongdoing. Guy shrugging emoji. I don't even have a parking ticket in the United States. Crying, laughing emoji. I have always been a law-abiding resident. Halo emoji. Good for you, dude.
If I find out,
he is straight up using emojis in denying why an international warrant is being sent out for his arrest and extradition back to Turkey, where God knows what would happen to him. Probably, Kyle, probably the least of which would be imprisonment for a long time, perhaps the rest of his life.
if there was an arrest warrant out for me, I wouldn't use emojis because I would have a burner phone immediately.
Right? You wouldn't see me. Well,
everything I learned in Breaking Bad would immediately come to the fore in how to operate in secrecy.
I would just say I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I'm on Team Kanter, and I really hope this all works out for him. I really, really do. Eunice does an amazing job. Kyle is adequate. I am below average. Jim Rome is next. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast. Dan Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye. Yeah.